It'd be really awkward if I opened a Cadbury cream egg before we started.
Go for it, man. While he's doing that, I'll intro the video. So, how you doing, guys? We're back again with another podcast episode. I think this is like number 4, isn't it? That we've done Number four. So, yeah, in this one, we're just going to be talking a little bit about what you guys have been up to during this lockdown period and how you've been managing to overcome and go out riding. What about you, Chris, in terms of like riding mid-bite on a Cadbury's cream egg there?
I'm going to save that for later. Damn, where do I put it? I'm just going to have to hold it and pretend like it's not here for a second. Yeah, it's been good. I mean, I guess what we have to think about is in the UK, the rules for us to...
Yeah, obviously it's going to be different from different countries, and every country's going to have their own specific set of rules out there.
But for us, we're allowed to do exercise, so it's like exercise. So for me, in my mind, I don't see an issue with jumping on my skateboard, and so long as I'm exercising, social distancing. Of course, it's a bit different for us. Although we don't live together, we work together, so we have to come into contact with each other at some point. Sounds a bit weird, but you know what I mean.
It is what it is.
But yeah, so I don't see the issue.
I don't mind coming in contact with you, babe.
I don't mind. I don't think there's anything wrong with me jumping on my skateboard and going for a ride. But at the same time, people think that it technically can be seen as going outside the house unnecessarily. But if you've ever done snowboarding, if you've ever ridden an electric skateboard and gone hard carving, how can you dare say that that's not physical?
Oh, it's the same as going out it's the same thing as going out on a bike ride, isn't it? I mean,
it really is, in my opinion.
You're still getting the same exercise, shall we say? So there's not really much difference there, and it's good to just get out and ride.
Just go for
because like in this country we've got about an hour or so that you say you can go out and do exercise for an hour or so, don't they?
Yeah.
So just jumping on a board, going out for a quick rip or quick ride, doing some carves and stuff. That's my exercise for the day.
No, I agree.
That's my daily exercise.
I think if you're riding a skateboard in a straight line versus if you throw on 80 tires or like the 107s and you're pushing the board to within an inch of its life before it slips out, like nobody can say that's not physically demanding on your body.
No.
Like I carve for 20 minutes and my thighs are wrecked.
But even just going, if you went out and just went on a straight ride and you didn't do any carving or anything like that, it's still good for the mind, isn't it? It's getting you out of the house, it's good for your mind, get a bit of fresh air. So still exercise, so to say, sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the important thing to make sure that everyone is doing is, excuse me, although these times mean that we have to be a bit more cautious and a bit more proactive in keeping distance and, watching what we come into contact with, there's nothing worse than being isolated in your house, your apartment, wherever you live and not doing anything. Going outside, just seeing the sky, seeing the sun.
It's good for your mental health.
Yeah, that's the big thing that I think people aren't really focusing on or mentioning. I don't see anything wrong with it. But one thing I've got to mention is in the comment section, let us know down below what your thoughts are. Obviously, like we said at the start, different countries have different rules. But do you think it's acceptable, like socially, based on what's happening in the world right now, for you to be able to jump on your skateboard, go for a ride for a bit, obviously practicing distancing, you're not stopping and shaking hands with people, trying to come into contact with people, just to clear your head. What do you think that is? And if you agree with us and you have been doing it, where have you been riding? Like, what places have you been?
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, have you been off-roading? Have you just been riding down simple streets? And what's the city been like if you've been riding? Because we were in central Cambridge today.
Absolutely dead.
It's bizarre, like riding past the Grand Arcade, which is the biggest shopping centre here.
Especially on routes that we'd normally go, and then just not seeing hardly any traffic there whatsoever compared to what it's normally like. Yeah, it's pretty mad.
I mean, from the perspective of an electric skateboard rider, we have all of the main streets to ourselves. So that feels great, but it just feels really eerie and creepy going through what should be the busiest area in Cambridge. And like even when we rode past the bus station, there's normally like you have to navigate through buses or think, oh, what's going to be coming around that corner? But today, like you go around the corner, it's just nothing.
No.
It feels weird. So yeah, let us know in the comment section if you think it's acceptable to go riding your board right now, practicing social distancing. And if not, if you disagree with us, comment down and let us know why. And just generally share some feedback on what it's like riding where you are, like what's allowed, what's acceptable. And what's the area been like based on what's happening for everyone right now around the globe?
What about habits? So normally on your normal ride that you go about, you might have certain routes that you'd go. Have you changed your habits up? Are you going on different routes? Are you exploring different places you normally wouldn't explore? Because like I've been saying to you lately about going off, I want to find like a bike trail in the woods or something like that to take the boards with the AT wheels on to rip round that. I thought that would be like pretty fun. So like, in terms of like, normally I'd be riding down the street and stuff like that, but I'm now thinking, well, shall I try and explore somewhere else and see like where there's not going to be anybody about, like some abandoned trails or something, to just have a good fun and good time on my board. So, you know, I don't know, like, how you guys, what you've been doing, what your habits like. Have you changed your route up since you're going out on your board still? You know, just like things like that.
I think for me, what I've been doing is
I mean, you have actually.
When?
Well, you've been changed up. Normally, you wouldn't normally go down the leisure centre near your house in the car park, but you've been spending a lot of time going down there on your board. Now.
Yeah,
so
that's
you've changed your habit up. Normally, you'd get on the board, jump on a train, come into town.
Yeah. So I'm riding around my own area.
Now you're riding around your own area.
Because I don't want to get on a train.
Exactly.
The trains are still running, but sod getting on a train.
Yeah.
But aside from that, it's that's actually another video that I'm going to touch on. I'm going to chat on this briefly, but anyone that's on my personal Instagram, which is probably only like maybe 1 or 2 people that are on this channel, but I crashed my car. Like I'm okay aside from having loads of gashes and stuff all over my body. This was a few weeks back. I've not really talked about it much, but it's one of the reasons why you guys have probably seen a big jump in the amount of videos that we've been posting, because for reasons that I'm not going to go into detail about, I've decided to get a new car the first week of July. And what that means is that between now and July, my primary mode of transport is the electric boards that you guys see us riding. So why I'm mentioning this is that's one of the reasons why I think my usage of my board has skyrocketed over the last few weeks or months, because it's the main way I'm getting around. And because of what's going on in the world right now, I don't want to get on a train. So I'd rather just ride around the areas that I live in.
Yeah.
But the other thing I wanted to touch on is something that I've definitely changed in terms of habits, is I'm wearing a lot more protective gear now than I ever have done before.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah, it's not because I'm scared of coming off. It's because I don't want to come off and have to go to the hospital for any reason.
Yeah.
I don't mean a break. I mean, like, I could, cut my leg open and have to go get stitches, even something as basic as that, or even thinking, did I twist that or is it broken? Do I need to get it checked? I'm trying to avoid, doctors' practices and hospitals like the freaking plague, because not only is it an inconvenience on anyone that works in the healthcare industry, because I'm not a serious case, it's something that's been self-inflicted. So it's also the fact that I don't want to increase the chances of getting anything from being around those types of areas. So it's me trying to be a little bit more proactive and think, if I do come off the board, I'm going to pad myself up more than I normally would, so I'll be in a better position.
It's good to see you taking a leaf out of my book for once, You know my nickname, Mr. Triple S. Safety, safety, safety.
You're the worst, mate. You need to get yourself a helmet. Like, jeez, this is.
Don't throw me under the bus like that.
Should we? I think we should.
Don't throw me under the bus like that.
Let's do this. Let's do this now. Helmet versus no helmet. Now, before you guys...
Oh, God, everyone's going to go mad in the comments about this
Before you guys go mad, so Ricky has... Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, you guys have seen the videos. You've seen clips of me riding without a helmet. These instances where I genuinely forget my helmet. I've been called out on one clip that was... I can't remember where we were filming it, but I didn't have my helmet on, but it was strapped to the side of my bag. And I can't remember who it was in the comments, but they weren't being horrible, but they were just like...
had to point it out, though.
They were pointing it out, and I was just like, what, that's a fair point. I can be sometimes bad with a helmet. I don't particularly like to wear them, but I've been wearing the white Rurik helmet without the face mask or the grill, and I kind of like that, so I've been sticking to it. I'm more drifting towards trying to keep it on, like 100% of the time if I can, but there is occasions where it sounds really silly, and please don't kill me for this, but if I'm riding somewhere that I'm very familiar with, I know the road, I know the terrain, I'm not in streets, I'm not going particularly fast, because I'm just kind of working on my carving at fairly slow speeds, I might, in those instances, just want headphones in. And with the new Apple AirPods, the AirPod 2, whatever the hell they're called, you can't wear them with like the Rurik helmet on, because it just keeps popping out if you move your neck. I know that sounds like an insane reason to not wear a helmet, but I can't be the only one out there that doesn't 100% of the time wear one. But what is your guys' take? Because first of all, tell us why you refuse to wear a helmet, period.
It's not that I refuse to wear a helmet. It's just that I like to look at it. It's like sex, isn't it? I mean, if you had the chance,
I didn't see the conversation going there. My God, I can feel where you're going with this.
If you had the chance to hang a bird with no Johnny on, or with a Johnny on, 100% of the time, you'd not want to wear that condom, would you?
Holy crap!
You know what I'm saying? And for me, that's like having to wear a Johnny for skating.
Oh my God.
And I get where people come from. Oh,
No.
You're disrespecting everybody else. You're making the whole sport or the,
but wait,
the whole
like,
electric skateboard thing bad for everybody.
So you're saying that having a helmet while you ride while you ride a board, first of all, the fact that you compared it to
it takes the fun out of it for me.
So having a helmet on restricts your fun on a board.
The more padded and the more protected I am, the less fun that
So what is it? Is it the risk?
Yeah, I guess it's part of the risk, isn't it? The part of the risk that you could fall off and actually hurt yourself is what makes it fun.
For you.
For me.
For you. No, I say that, but then
because there's loads of people that are adrenaline junkies, that...
Fair. But you've been throwing comments at the way I've been we've not filmed a lot of the way I've been carving lately, but you've thrown comments at me for that.
Oh, 100%. I've said to you, it's only a matter of time before you come off now, because you're taking it to the limits. And I can see at some point you're just going to hit something bad on the road and just go boom. You were filming that video the other day on the Stoke, weren't it?
Yeah.
You come off twice.
Yeah, I did.
I did. Twice that I can remember. So
I had flatland gloves on. I had knee pads on. I had a big old helmet on. I was padded up really well. Yeah. Way more so than I would any other time when I'm riding a board. And
you still injured your leg.
It's because I did the splits, man.
Exactly. You can't get padded up for that, can you? So you don't know. The unexpected can happen at any time.
Yeah, fair. But still, let us know in the comments. I don't know if this is going to be like a 95 people are saying you're crazy and then 5% are like, yeah, I kind of get it. But let us know down below in the comments what you think. Is it a case of, doesn't matter what you're doing, 100% on, have a helmet on? Or is it a case of, well, if you don't want to wear one, don't wear one?
I think what it is a lot of people don't like the fact that other people don't wear helmets because it's making the whole community or whatever look bad. If I was to just ride down the road, come off, kill myself, not protected whatsoever, then maybe the government could be like, oh, this is a dangerous thing. We need to start putting rules and regulations in place for it. So I can see where people like that they're coming from. But there's a million and other things out there that people do that they don't protect themselves. You've got people on motocross bikes jumping jumps, flipping in the air. All they've got is a helmet on.
Even bicycles, I don't think enough people get stick for not wearing helmets on bicycles. If you live in, I think the cities that I've been to that I know bikes are just everywhere. Oxford in the UK, Cambridge in the UK, Amsterdam in the Netherlands, even Den Haag in the Netherlands, California.
That's it.
People are just always on bikes. I know it's what's it called? What's that place called? The Bay Area in California, near Dublin, California, which is about 45 minutes up north from the Bay Area. I saw loads of bikes around there. And a lot of people didn't have helmets on, but I don't feel they get as much stick as they do. To be honest with you, if you gave me the option of coming off of a board at, say, 15 to 20 miles an hour with no helmet on versus coming off of a bike, like a bicycle, 15 to 20 miles an hour with no helmet on, I'll pick the skateboard.
Yeah.
The bike, you're going over the handlebars. The skateboard, there's so many ways that you can roll.
You can run. Your legs can take a lot of the momentum up, and then you can just
roll out of it. Obviously, there's instances where you're going to fall where you have no control over your body.
Exactly.
But, all the times that I've fallen in recent times, I've been able to kind of
control it. It's a controlled fall, basically.
Yeah, you feel yourself going and it's just there's nothing I can do, but I know if
shit.
I can tuck in.
I'll have to do my best that I can not to hurt myself.
Yeah, aside from the splits, there's nothing I can do with that, and my groin is still feeling it today.
Yeah.
But it was funny. Hopefully you guys saw the video that I posted on Instagram, because it was funny. We couldn't stop laughing about it at the time, but then when I went to sleep that night and every time I moved my leg I woke up because it was so painful, I was like, okay, maybe it wasn't that funny. But no, yeah, let us know in the comment section what you guys think. But the other thing I wanted to chat about was with everything that's going on right now, obviously we've seen a couple of teasers and releases of boards that are coming out. We've seen things like with Eksate just getting ready. I think they've already started shipping out the Flex. We are waiting for our Flex. There is one on order. It's literally just a case of waiting for it to get here. As soon as it's here, guys, there'll be a video on it. But what boards have you seen recently?
Don't even get me started. You know what board I've seen recently.
What was it?
It was Eboards, I think they're Sweden and Stockholm.
Yeah, go on.
And Instagram post that they put out the other day, and their board was doing 170 kilometers an hour. Now
upside down, full throttle.
Yeah, upside down, full throttle, and then they done another one a day later, and it was hitting just over 180. So I converted that into miles per hour, and it was just over 100 miles per hour. Obviously, like we were saying about it, you got to take into account that there's no drag with wind, your weight on the board, and all the rest of it. But still, that board's going to probably hit 60, 70 miles an hour, maybe even more. That's just ridiculous.
It's
crazy.
It kind of gets to the point where I remember, because we talked about this earlier on, and I remember what you said about, it's not about being able to go 60, 70 miles an hour flat out.
That's it.
It's just like, if you're riding alongside a car and you need to be able to get past it quickly to overtake, you always have that power
You've got that power at your disposal, yeah.
Or going up a hill.
Yeah, definitely. It's
like you'd be able to fly up a hill.
There's a lot of cars out there that have got God knows how many brake horsepower, and like, yeah, you never really unleash that. But if you needed to overtake something, or you was overtaking something and something pulled out from nowhere, you've got that poke then to actually pull yourself around it. Whereas if you're in a slow car, you're just a sitting duck basically.
Yeah, for sure.
You just got to accept your fate, haven't you, and brace for the impact basically. But at least then, if with these boards, especially with the 4 motors, so it's like a 4-wheel drive board, AT and street versions they do. At least you've got that poke there to be able to get yourself out of a tricky situation if needs be.
But what was the price?
But the price, I think it was like $3,500 that I converted in. I think it was like, is it KR, Krona or something that they use?
Swedish krona.
Yeah, so it's 44,000 krona, Swedish krona.
Krona, yeah. You used to say Corona.
No, I said krona.
Okay, fair.
I don't think I said krona.
But yeah, no, fair play. That's a lot of money for a board.
So it's like, equated to about $3,500 in English money.
Yeah, and then what breaks down for me is what happens when the board goes wrong. What do you do?
Well, yeah.
Is it going back to Stockholm?
I don't know. I haven't looked into it that much. But I mean, Eboards from Stockholm, Sweden. If you're watching, hit us up because I'd like to try that board.
I'd like to
100%.
I'd like to see it. But no, we're in Sweden quite a lot for the hockey tutorial stuff.
Exactly.
We work with a couple of companies out there. So Sweden is definitely. It's actually the spot that we're going to be flying to first once. Everything returns to
normal.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's going to be a normal, but.
So, is there any boards that you've seen or taken note of that you like the look of?
Yeah, I think for me, I want to see what own boards are like. They're bamboo and also their carbon board.
Yeah,
I'm pretty keen to do a VS against the Evolve ones because it looks like they've essentially created a more lower price point version of what Evolve does. So I'd like to see how they stack up. Aside from that, I want to see the backfire. I keep calling it black.
To be fair, actually, I've been seeing a lot lately. Actually, there's a few Instagram posts been popping off
of what?
About the own board or on one board or whatever it's called. That they're doing like repair centre at Slick Revolutions or doing something partnered with Slick.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I saw that, and there's a couple of boards. Same with Eksate as well.
I did see that. So I think Slick Revolution are going to be selling own boards and X-Ways.
And servicing them if things go wrong and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, that's a really nice touch. I did see that on an Instagram post. I think it was on the Slick Revolution's Instagram, maybe. I think I saw it there.
I think I saw it on Slick's Instagram, and I'm pretty sure it popped up on, because I think that own board or whatever, I follow them as well on Instagram, so I'm pretty sure that popped up on my feed as well, and I was like, that was the board you was going on about earlier.
It was, yeah. Because funny enough, Slick Revolution's boards were actually the first electric skateboards I ever rode. Yeah. And that's what kind of like started this whole craze in the first place. Saying that, Rob from Slick Revolution, if you're watching this podcast, I have seen you in the comment section of some of the other ones, so if you're watching this, send me a message, text me, because it'd be great to get you out here whenever you're comfortable to be able to come out here to do that, to jump on this podcast and have a chat. It'd be nice to be able to speak to, an owner of a skateboard manufacturing company to get your insight, to probe you with questions.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It'd be good, right?
Yeah, 100%.
For sure. So we'll see if we can make that happen. That's definitely something that we want to do as this podcast goes on. And I've seen the comments as well asking if we can make the audio versions of these podcasts as well. So I will do what I can to add it to like the iTunes store, to Spotify, where you typically go to find podcasts. I am working on that, but I'm not going to lie, it is difficult.
Things take time.
Yeah, it's audio is something I don't deal with. I'm learning as it goes. And you've got to remember, guys, that we're managing 2 podcasts and 2 hockey two YouTube channels at the same time. The skateboard one, the hockey one, and both of them have podcasts. So it's a lot of content.
Free as well. I've got to do my own one as well.
And he does his own one as well.
There's a lot there. Yeah, a lot to be doing. So.
Yeah. It's 3. So it's 2 podcasts, 3 YouTube channels, 3 Instagram accounts, 3 Facebook pages. It's so much content to be able to manage. So bear with us, but we're trying to do what we can. But I think guests on this podcast would be great to be able to it'd be
good to get some people on here.
For sure.
With different opinions, different things that they're into, and just be great to get people on here to see what their thoughts are on boards and all the rest of it, really.
I want desperately to get Rob from Slick Revolution. I want to get one of the guys from Eksate to come in.
Yeah.
I also want to get one of the guys from Evolve to come in as well. Like, it would be awesome to be able to have, because those are realistically the boards that we've had the most experience with and the most exposure to. So it'd be nice to speak to the people behind them and have a chat just about what they're working on, what they can share about what's coming next.
How they started up the company,
yeah.
bits and pieces like that. So, if you're interested in that sort of thing, let us know in the comment section down below.
Also, just let us know what episodes you'd like us to record, what subjects.
Yeah, if you've got any ideas, any subjects that we could talk about, then that would also be good as well.
For sure. Now, the other thing I wanted to cover briefly in this is a lot of us have seen online Boost It has effectively been purchased by Lime, the scooter company, electric scooter company. I don't see, I'm going to preface this comment before I jump into this by saying I've obviously read what is available online and I'm just making my own assumptions off of that. So bear in mind that these are my own assumptions, not fact. But I don't see this as a Boost It are saved now and we can expect Boost It to continue making boards. I feel as though that company Lime is going to be incorporating Boost It's technology into what they do. Probably, yeah. I don't know if that means they're going to make a skateboard with Boost It tech, whether they're going to reopen the, HQ that Boost It has. I know they're essentially in control of everything there. They've got people there taking stuff out. I can't remember exactly what they're doing with the space, but obviously there's a minimal amount of people that are still involved in the company. So what do you think personally, I'd think if they've purchased the company, they've probably purchased, like you said, the tech. It was the patents and all the rest of it like that. I don't think it'd probably be very lucrative or a good business model to actually make an electric skateboard. I feel like the electric skateboard market's pretty saturated now, and now is where you're going to start seeing companies start to go bust, like Boosted have gone, because it's just too saturated and they didn't do anything quick enough to make their board better and stand out to every other board that was out there. And the same with inertium boards, gone bust as well. It's just I think it's just too saturated of a market now, and this is where you're going to start seeing companies that just start to completely bail out of it, because there's good boards out there and they're at good prices, and it's just people like certain boards, don't they? So what I can see happening, if anyone, I don't mean to keep relating back to hockey, but with the ice hockey world, if you go back just a few years ago, there was so many different stick manufacturers, so many different skate manufacturers, lots of different companies that were all making different pieces of equipment. And then what started to happen is it started to fizzle down to essentially 3 or 4, major companies. And then you'd have, I think the issue is when you try to get a company that tries to become the jack of all trades, I think that's where the issues occur. Because with companies like, there's a company called Warrior, for example, in hockey. And to my knowledge, they're one of the only out of the you could say 4 larger hockey companies that are out there that are in the green, because they chose to only stick to what they were good at, which was creating protective equipment and sticks. They avoided making hockey skates because they're very costly, very expensive, and it just requires so much manpower to create a good job. Then you have other companies that will just focus on sticks, but then start to venture out into other things. And it either goes one or two ways. They either do really well or really bad. And why I'm saying this is it comes back to the story of Boost It. They were phenomenal at making skateboards, and then they went and made a scooter. And it was just for me, I didn't understand that. I know that scooters have become so high in demand. But it's stick to what you know and let other people create those types of things and just cater to your audience. So I think what's going to happen is we're going to see the main companies that we know now. You'll have the premium companies, and I say this as in, when I say a premium electric skateboard company, I mean a company that you can walk into a shop and buy their board. Not one that's on the internet that you can only get from that website. So when I say premium, I mean Evolve. It's not being one-sided or kind of blowing smoke up Evolve's backside. It's a fact. And I think they're just at that price point as well, aren't they? Where it's affordable for people to actually buy one of those boards, whereas some of the other boards out there, even those bio boards, I said they're equated to $3,500 for a board. Not many people have got $3,500 to go chuck on an electric skateboard. Not many people have £1,700. Not many people have £1,700, but £1,700 is a more reasonable price that you could maybe save up to buy if you don't have that money. Rather than double that, then it's just going to be near on impossible for you to even purchase one of those things. Yeah, for sure. And that's why I think that you're going to have the premium brand, and then you might maybe have say 1 or 2, maybe 3 premium brands, and then you'll have the mid-range brand. But I think the completely lower end bracket, those are the ones that I think are just going to fade out, because there's nothing that, the boards that are sub £400, these no entries to barrier for other companies to be able to replicate what those companies are doing.
Exactly.
So it's whoever can make the cheapest
time
product.
Before people buy those boards, thinking, oh, that's good, and then they're like, no, these boards are absolutely really. Yeah. Like, there's no point of even wasting your money. And then obviously somebody else, so I'm looking at buying an electric skateboard, and they'll be like, no, don't even waste your money on a £400 board. So eventually word will get round, the bigger it gets, and then people just won't even be bothering because it's not even worth spending the money on those.
Yeah, I think these saying that, like, I don't want people to take it the wrong way. Like, mid-range boards, like, there is like a ton of great mid-range boards, and I always come back to Eksate because for what they charge for their boards, I think they do a phenomenal job of the product that they have at that price point. So I think that's kind of like my take on what's going to happen. We'll have a few premium companies and then a few mid-range companies, and then the lower ones are going to be the ones that just come and go. Like, same with like hockey sticks in hockey. Like, somebody goes to China, finds a stick factory, wraps the stick in a new skin, and then calls themselves a new company. They're around for 9 months and then they disappear and another one comes up. So that's kind of my take on it. But let me know what you guys think. If you think that's accurate, if you think it's going to go a completely different way, let me know what you guys think is going to happen with that.
Another thing I just want to quickly mention. This is a shout out to my board. No, actually, I just wanted to say, cleaning your electric skateboard. I cleaned my board the other day for the first time since I've had it. You was disgusted in it. You kept saying to me, why don't you clean your board? And I was like, I can't be bothered. Don't need cleaning. It's just going to get dirty when I go out there again. But I cleaned it up, and some little kid I saw on YouTube, actually, floor cleaner and a toothbrush, and he was toothbrushing it with a bit of floor cleaner on his grip tape and then sucking it up with a paper towel. And I've done all of that to my board, and it's like a brand new board. And I just thought I had to mention that because I'm so happy about it.
I cleaned my board.
I'm so happy.
I'm pretty bad. I essentially clean my board, I'd say every other time I ride it, I clean it. Yeah. Like, with what's going on now, like, I'm pretty bad. A little bit of OCD. When I come inside, I spray the bottom of my shoes with antibacterial. Yeah. I spray my deck. I spray my wheels. Like, I like to keep it clean.
But yeah, that's what I had to mention it because I was just interested on, like, if you guys, how often do you clean your boards? Do you bother cleaning it at all? And yeah, just let us know in the comment section down below. But yeah, I cleaned mine, took it completely apart, every single mechanism and bolt and nut come off that board, and it got cleaned up and put back together.
Quick side note, I've got a question for you. So we, the video that I posted, I guess it's going to be the most recent YouTube video I posted on Evolve's high performance bushing kit. Yeah. You have the high performance bushings in your board now, and also the Riptide pivot cups.
Oh yes, I do. Yeah.
Feedback?
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Feedback and thoughts on those are incredible. No, they definitely made a difference, especially having the carbon deck. So before, even just going on a ride that we went on before this podcast started, I could definitely feel the board went over bumps and lumps, and I didn't feel as many vibrations in the board due to the softer bushings that I'm using.
Yeah, I said that in a video, and I thought people were going to think I was crazy. Like, what do you mean bushings made the ride better on the carbon?
Yeah, because obviously the original compound or whatever the bushings are made from, and the new ones are a softer compound or a more flexible, better compound, essentially. I went for softer bushings because I've got the carbon deck, and I wanted to be able to turn it more easier, to carve better, and just manoeuvre a lot more easier, basically. So I've got softer bushings in there. Put those lime green Riptide cups in there as well, and I've got like no squeaks or nothing because my board was squeaking really bad before that. No squeaks or anything like that, and vibrations again. Just going over anything like loose dirt. Going over, there's some like cattle grids we have to go over, don't there, with the bikes paths and stuff. Going over them, just went over it straight away, just like minimal vibrations. It was way better than it was before. So they've definitely made a big difference, definitely.
I think for me, I said that my ultimate setup was 95A on the board side and then 92A on the road side. Yeah. I am changing that because this is the first time. I mean, we put a few miles when I was filming the bushing video.
That's it, but that was just up on all smooth tarmac.
Exactly.
We didn't really go for a proper out downtown. So
yeah, it wasn't. We didn't ride on as much terrain as I would have wanted to. Obviously, you guys know what's going on. It's not as easy to get about. But I mean, I'd easily say at least 15, 20 miles, maybe 30 miles on the board before giving any feedback on what the bushings have been like. But having ridden around the city today, I'm definitely going to go 98A on the board side and then 95A on the road side. Yeah. Because it's not that when I'm turning the board's unstable or when I'm flooring it I get board wobble like the what's it called? Speed wobble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get any of that, but it's when I'm, like Ricky said, you might see in the videos as well, I'm pretty aggressive when I ride, like in terms of going up curbs, down curbs, like turning very sharply and aggressively. And what I found is when I was dropping down off of curbs, the deck was a lot harder to be able to control as it was wobbling side to side. Not even speed wobble, I'm talking about going fairly slow speeds. And it made the board feel a little bit more unpredictable for me in a negative way, which shows me that, yeah, for sure, I think at least the 92A bushings are too soft. So I want to stiffen up the ones on the board side and then stiffen up the ones on the road side by a little bit. But I'm looking forward to...
But again, that comes back to as well, the point of in the video is until you buy the kit, you don't know,
exactly.
do you? So...
Yeah, I said that in the video because, I mean, now that I know, I'm pretty confident that, like, I'm going to go on Evolve site and just buy the single 98A bushings and then the 95A, just because I know that there's no other option for me to try out. If they had like a 96, that would be great, but they don't. So I'm just going to go with that. And I'm pretty confident that's going to feel the way I want it to feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to ask the question about what your experience in the
in the
bushings
definitely.
Like.
It's just one of those things. Unless you try them, you're never going to know what they're going to feel like and how the board's going to react. But for me, just being able to, because of that carbon deck, that always annoys me. It's like every time I step on the bamboo deck and it's like your feet sink into it, you can just turn so much easier than you can with the carbon deck. But I'm carbon fanboy. I just like my carbon.
No, I think it's a better looking board than the bamboo. Like when it's just lying up against a wall, but the ride is just it's uncomparable for me.
Yeah.
I hyped up the carbon when I got one. I was just like, this is going to be the one that I ride the most, and then I've just gone straight back to the bamboo.
Yeah. Just for manoeuvrability, carving and stuff like that, the bamboo is definitely a better shout. But I just like the look of the carbon, and also I like to go off road quite a bit as well on my boards, just going ground clearance and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't need that at all.
Yeah, like with
like
that,
roads.
like when we was out the other day, there's some grass, isn't there, with them like steep hills and that.
Yeah.
And I was just flooring my board trying to get some air over these hills and stuff. Never be able to do that on the carbon.
Yeah, I went over it once and got hit the battery.
Stuck.
Yeah, and I got stuck. It was a bit annoying.
So
but yeah,
pros and cons to both boards. But
for sure, we've done a whole podcast on that. If you want to check that out down below, I'll link it down below so you can see stiff deck versus flexi deck if you want to see that. And obviously there's also the GTR carbon versus GTR bamboo video if you want to check that out down below. But I think that maybe wraps it up for this one.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for this one, guys.
So again, in the comments, let us know what you want us to discuss next. In terms of the next video you can expect from us, there's one more, believe it or not, one more Evolve video that I want to make. I know somebody in a comment was like, are you guys going to work with any other boards? But let me explain.
There's so much to cover.
There's so much to cover with Evolve's boards. It's one of the issues that I've pumped out so many videos on Evolve because there's so many different elements to their boards, and the fact that they have three completely different boards means that there's a lot to talk about. But one more video on gears, because I feel that's definitely a subject that needs to be addressed, and it's something that will benefit people that don't even have an Evolve board. If they're
buying another board that's got a gear set up on it as well. So.
Just so you can understand how the different gears work out when you put different wheels on them, how it affects your speed, your torque, your braking. So I wanted to do that video. There's also, maybe I guess we could do a follow-up on the Stoke, but I kind of feel like my first impressions video explained the main points. There's not going to be much more
that you can add to it, really. But
yeah,
I don't know. After you've ridden it a little bit more, you might.
Maybe just let us know. Do you guys want to see a Stoke review? I did a first impressions when I first got it. If you want to see a review, then drop the comments down below.
Yeah, I suppose a review would be like full testing of the range, like to see exactly what you're getting. Because obviously we've ridden it, you pretty much know already after you've ridden it a few times and you've run the battery down, you know exactly what type of range you're going to be getting.
Yeah.
But maybe try it out like people have said about with some different wheel setups, like maybe try it with the 97s just to see what it's like. You never know, you might love it like that. But yeah.
The thing is, because I turn quite sharp on it, I think 97s will give me bite, because that's...
I know, but you never know until you try.
And then from there, I feel like the next video that you guys are going to see is going to be with the own board. That's what I've got my intentions set on. So I'm going to see if I can get one of those as quickly as possible, start riding it, so we can put a video together on it.
Video on that.
It'll be interesting to see how it compares. I'm keen to see what that's like. But yeah, as always, guys, a big thank you for watching this all the way to the end. Please don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you like this type of content. And looking forward to touching base with you guys in the next one. Hope everyone is staying healthy and safe. And if you can, keep riding, but just make sure you're respectful and cautious while you're out there.
Oh yeah, and just a quick one. I feel like I need to address this. Like, if you don't know who I am, I'm actually the cameraman, because I don't think we've actually ever introduced me or said who I am. So people are probably like, who is this dude?
Yeah, I'm sure we said it.
But yeah, I'm the cameraman anyway, just in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, cheers for watching. Take care and peace.
Take care, guys. Be safe.